In this video, I'm going to be talking about my absolute holy grail fragrances. These are the ones I love the most right now, and for that reason, they're in my top 10. They may not be for everyone, but I'm a huge fan of them. Yes, people, what is going on YouTube, and welcome back to another video. So I'm TJ, and over here on my channel, I discuss all things fragrance and the fragrance industry. So if there's any content, anything at all that you would like for me to create, make sure to let me know down in the comments. So I know on YouTube, everybody loves a top 10 list. You see top 10 this, top 10 that, and I think the only top 10 list I've done on my channel so far is my favorite vanilla fragrances. So if you haven't seen that video already and you love a vanilla gourmand scent, check out that video. And a quick disclaimer, for all of these 10 fragrances that I'm going to talk to you about in this video, it's not just about how they smell, why they've come into the top 10. Of course, in my opinion, I think all of these fragrances smell absolutely banging, but it's more than that. It's about how long I've had the fragrances, the kind of memories or scent association I have with these fragrances, and kind of how they make me feel when I rock them, so take that into account. And also, for someone who's got over 200 bottles of fragrance, finding your top 10 is really hard. I think my top 5 pretty much stay the same, but the rest of them jiggle about and some drop out, some come in. So yeah, man, if you was to ask me what my top 10 is next week, I'll probably say something completely different. And by the way, if you don't already follow your boy over on TikTok or Instagram, it's the same as this one. It's TJ Talk Sense. Over here on YouTube, I'm posting about once a week at the moment, but over there, I'm dropping daily content. So if you're a little bit impatient, therefore go to the handles I'm going to put over here and drop me a follow. But that's definitely enough waffling, so let's just get into the list. The first one kicking off this list in the number 10 spot is from Ex Nihilo, and this fragrance right here is called Blue Talisman. And Ex Nihilo have some great underrated fragrances. The only thing I wish with these fragrances if they was a little bit cheaper, because some of them are super steep for 100 ml. But yeah, man, I've talked about this, I think, quite a bit on YouTube and definitely on TikTok and Instagram. And the response that I get to this is always good. And out of all of the fragrances on this list, I think this is probably one of two that are more recent pickups. And by that, I mean ones that I picked up in the last year. So that must be telling you guys something. For me to get something so recent and it to enter my top 10 fragrances of all time is something massive. And you might hear me say that and think, oh yeah, this is an absolute banger. I think this fragrance is actually pretty basic, but it kind of does everything I need it to do. And with Blue Talisman, there's no one note in this fragrance that just makes it stand out. Like, there's nothing that you'll smell in this that will make your mouth water or go, oh my God. But I'm telling you, man, for me, it just smells so nice. And the first, I think 3 or 4 times I wore this after I got the fragrance, I got compliments. And loads of people talk about compliment getting fragrances, but for me, you don't get compliments every single time you wear a fragrance. So for me to get it 3 or 4 times, the first ever time I bought the fragrance and I rocked it, that is like a lot. And I think that's probably a little bit of the reason why it's gone into my top 10. And if you guys don't already know, the notes in this fragrance is pear, musk, and you got some spices in there as well. But when you smell it, you're not like, oh yeah, that smells crazy, but I'm telling you, on skin, it's a different ball game. Just put it on skin, do a couple sprays in your hand and just see how it develops throughout the day. And I'm telling you, you'll love this. So if you haven't tried Blue Talisman by Ex Nihilo yet, definitely try this and some others in their range. And now in at the number 9 spot is my second favorite fragrance from the house of Mancera. If you guys don't already know, my number 1 goes to the gourmand beauty of a fragrance called Amore Cafe. I'll insert the card above where I spoke about that video in detail. But this fragrance, I had to pick a summer fragrance on this list, and it just had to go, obviously, to Mancera's French Riviera. And now quickly again, for some of you who might not heard me say this, but is French Riviera by Mancera one of the best fragrances ever? No, it's not. Do I like it? Do I love the fragrance? Yes, I do. With this fragrance, like I've mentioned loads of times, you're going to pick up a heavy dose of citrus in there. You're going to get some lemon. You're going to get some mandarin orange as well. And it is very salty, and it does remind you a lot of just like a sun cream. Atomizes absolutely fire as well. And for me, it just reminds me of being on holiday, and it kind of suits the name being French Riviera. And for that reason, man, I think the fragrance is great. And I'm not sure if there's any of you guys out there like me who was on the hunt for a summer fragrance for some time. So my go-to summer fragrance was Dolce & Gabbana Light Blue Eau Intense, because that one lasted around 7 hours. It projected quite well. And I remember getting loads of compliments off of it. So Mancera French Riviera kind of took that to a next level for me. And that's why it's kind of like my go-to, along with that one right there, Wave Child by Room 1015, that I haven't spoken about too much yet because I kind of want to gatekeep it. But this one, you're going to get like 10, 11, maybe 12 hours performance on it. And in terms of projection, it's really good. It lasts the test of time. I pick up a few compliments with this one. And yeah, man, like it's nothing special, but it's just going to do the job. And for me in the morning, when I check my weather app or I look out the window and I see blue skies and it looks like a hot day, this is the first fragrance that my eyes are drawn to. But I'd love to hear from you guys. What is your go-to summer fragrance that you just can't live without? And when you see a hot day or you look at the weather app and it's boiling outside, which is the one that you go to? And now on to the number 8 spot. We have one from Nishane, and this one is called Nishane Ani X. I don't know if it's Annie or Ani, but I just say Annie. Nishane Ani X. And I'm someone who has actually owned the original Nishane Ani before, and I think that one's absolutely beautiful. But when I tried this one last year, I might just think this one topped it a little bit. And if you're someone who hasn't tried the original Nishane Ani fragrance, I would kind of describe it as a soft, seductive, kind of cashmere, creamy vanilla fragrance that just smells like this action. It just smells like that, just so smooth and sensual. And I think the X just took it to another level because it added in some more fruitier notes. So I think the main players you get in here is the apple, you get melon, you get ginger, and you get blackcurrant. And for me, like, it just kind of elevated it a little bit. And actually, the first thing you need to do if you haven't tried Nishane Ani is to go out and do it the next time you get the opportunity to, or just buy a sample of it online. And what's crazy is I don't normally like fragrance flankers because I think the flanker or the second release that they bring out is not too different from the original, where I'm like, what's the point of me going out and spending another £200 to £300 on a fragrance that just smells similar to that with a little difference? So for me, most of the time, flankers are a waste of time, but not when it comes to this one. So my opinions on Nishane Ani is it's a great smell. Straight out of the bottle is kind of what remains throughout the scent, so it's pretty linear, whereas Nishane Ani X has some more depth to it. There's some different facets to it which I think are great, like, and it's definitely a flanker that warrants being there in my opinion. So I would say if you want a fragrance for the autumn and winter that's just pretty linear, it's going to do the job, you can rock it for date nights or pretty much any occasion, I would go for the original Nishane Ani. But if you want something a little bit more fruity, a little bit more sweeter, and it just gives you a different feel to it, and you can wear this all year round for sure, definitely in the summer months, go for Nishane Ani X. But I'm kind of intrigued, like, if you guys out there have tried the original Nishane Ani and the X, let me know down in the comments which one's better. Now this one I've got in my hands now, I wasn't sure whether to put this in at the 7th spot, the 6th spot, or even as low as the 5th spot, but I think this is the right position for it, and you'll probably see why when I talk about the ones that are coming up next. But this fragrance is from Stephanie Humbert Lucas, and if you see my content, you already know what this one is. This is none other than Venom Incarnat. And this is a beautiful fragrance, but if you want to see a more in-depth review where I talk about this fragrance and all of the other Stephanie Humbert Lucas fragrances, make sure to tap into that video up there. So when I initially dived into Stephanie Humbert Lucas fragrances last year, I kind of wanted to stay away from the hyped up God of Fire just because everyone has it, everyone was talking about it. And Venom Incarnat was actually the first fragrance that I put my nose on from the brand. I literally went in order and I saw the red one. Being a Liverpool fan, I was like, yep, I need to try that one. And this fragrance does everything I need it to do. If you guys haven't already clocked, I've got a sweet tooth when it comes to fragrances. I absolutely love the sweeter the fragrance, the better for me. And this one just does everything I need it to do. And I know nowadays a lot of people want every single fragrance to be an absolute beast mode, but I don't think you need every fragrance to just be an absolute monster. And I don't think Venom Incarnat needs to be a monster either. Being a really sweet fragrance that's got strawberry in there, that's got caramel in there, that's got raspberry in there, do you need that to be a monster? I think that would be a little bit too intoxicating. I think it would just end up like irritating your nose and probably getting on people's nerves around you. But I just think this one's just absolutely stunning. And whenever I wear this one, I always enjoy it. I've never worn this and be like, oh man, I wish I wore something else today. And guys, I'm telling you, put a couple sprays on this on the missus in the evening and just watch how the night goes. And a lot of people say that SHL fragrances are a little bit synthetic, and I got to totally disagree with that. And I think at the end of the day, who really cares, man? If you try Venom Incarnat and you like it and it smells good on you, then buy it and wear it. If you think it smells synthetic, don't rock it. But everyone has different experiences, so I'm going to tell you from my experience, I love this fragrance, but you might try it and might not like it. So that's why I say don't go out and listen to my opinion and then go out and just blind buy this fragrance, because you might hate it, and I don't want that to be on me. And now in the 6th spot, we have Gris Charnel Extrait by BDK Parfums. And if you guys have seen my last video where I spoke about 2024 fragrance releases, you would have seen me absolutely grill and get onto their newest release called 312 Saint Honoré, because I think that is horrible and there's not one good thing I can say about that fragrance. But when it comes to Gris Charnel Extrait, it's the absolute opposite for me. Like, there's not one bad thing I can say about this. And when I got this fragrance early last year, it was the first time I actually bought a fragrance and thought to myself, where the hell am I going to wear this? Like, I've never tried or smelled anything like this before, so where am I going to put it on? Do I just wear it casually? Do I wear it dressed up? Do I wear it to work? What do I do? I didn't think I was going to find any use for it, but if you look at the juice on the bottle right there, I've obviously found plenty of use for it. And if you guys have seen any reviews on Gris Charnel Extrait, the two main notes you're going to hear every single time is fig and black tea, of course. And they obviously work in the fragrance, and you do definitely pick it up in the opening. But for me, the main players are the iris, the vanilla, and the sandalwood combination. Those three notes there together, they're all smooth, they're all soft, they're all kind of bold as well. And oh man, they just work so well in the fragrance. Like, I have to spray this one in the air right now. the stuff is so good, man, and I can't rate this fragrance anything less than a 9 or 9.5 out of 10 because it's that special. And some people might be thinking, how's the OG, like the original Gris Charnel? It smells nice, it does smell similar to this fragrance, but Gris Charnel Extrait is just that more darker, a little bit more bolder, more mature in my opinion anyway. And I think if you had to go for one of the two, even though this one is higher priced, I would still say just go for this. And now we're into top 5 territory. And if you guys have seen my kind of favorite fragrances of all time, I'm pretty sure you're gonna know exactly what the top 3 is. But when it comes to 4 and 5, they kind of change a little bit. So this one is the best fragrance from Parfums de Marly. No, it's not Leighton. No, it's not Altair. No, it's not Perseus. No, it's definitely not Greenlee and Sedley. So without a doubt, it has to be Parfums de Marly Carlisle. And I bet you loads of you watching this video now were shocked when I said best Parfums de Marly fragrance and I didn't name the ones that I just mentioned, because they're the ones that get all the hype over social media. When it comes to summer, everyone wants Greenlee or Sedley. When it comes to winter, Altair is the newest one. Like that's kind of like that gourmand vanilla fragrance that I've actually just picked up, by the way, that I might review soon. But this one kind of gets no real mention. Like even people speak about Houghton more than Carlisle, but for me, this is definitely the best. And it's not even the first one. It's the second or third Parfums de Marly fragrance that I got, and it just holds a special place in my heart. And I know loads of people probably haven't even smelt this fragrance, so I'll try and kind of summarize it the best way and the easiest way I can explain. So in the opening, what you're going to pick up is a pairing of apple and rose that is just stunning in my opinion. Then it gets smoother because the tonka bean and the vanilla is introduced into the fragrance. But in the background, and what makes it bold and why I think the black bottle suits it so much, is the spices that come along with it. And I'm not sure if that comes from the nutmeg or the saffron or even the patchouli, but the spices in this fragrance is what makes it great. And that's why I would kind of stick to wearing this fragrance more in the cooler months. And when I say I only wear this fragrance on special occasions, I really mean that. And I don't think I've picked this bottle up and wore this fragrance in about 6 or even 7 months now, which is crazy. I last wore it in December and I can remember the day. It was the day I hosted my first ever event in Harrods Beauty in Lakeside. And I've actually got that video on my channel. So please guys, I beg you check that video out, because that's probably, not even probably, that is definitely the best day since creating content for me, like content wise, because I managed to host my own event in Harrods, had loads of people come out. It was a great night. And this, anytime I smell this fragrance, this is exactly what it reminds me of now. Now, in at the number 4 spot, we have one of 2 fragrances from Maison Francis Kurkdjian. And the first one coming up is none other than Oud Satin Mood. And if you guys can guess exactly what the next fragrance is going to be, then you're an absolute G. But for me, Oud Satin Mood is definitely one of the best fragrances that I own in my collection. And if you guys couldn't already guess, Oud Satin Mood is of course a oud fragrance, but it's a very sweet and soft and sensual oud fragrance. And in there is combined with other florals, especially rose. So I would say it's more of an oud and rose fragrance, like all in all. Then you get some ambery tones in the base. And I see loads of people online saying this fragrance is zesty. Oh, this one's for girls. Guys shouldn't wear this if you're masculine. I'm just like, I beg you, just shut up. Like, you don't know anything. For me, Oud Satin Mood is an absolute masterpiece of a fragrance, and it's easily a 10. So if you guys are looking for something that is fully unisex, it's a little bit sweet and dark at the same time, then Oud Satin Mood is the one for you. For me, this is an absolute beast of a fragrance. It's an absolute monster. And one little story I've got, I remember wearing this out with work, and we always going to some destination. We was at a train station, Liverpool Street, which is a super busy train station, in the evening after work as well. And like the group kind of lost each other, and we went off this way, other people was over there. And then when the group came back and they was like, oh, like we was looking for you guys. And I was like, yeah, we was literally just here. They was like, oh, we literally just following the scent. Like we could smell you throughout the whole train station. I'm like, that is absolutely crazy. Obviously, like I must have done like 30 sprays that day just so everyone like knows, hey, this guy's the best smelling about. But yeah, Oud Satin Mood is an absolute powerhouse. And this is a fragrance I've had for like 3 or 4 years now, and you're thinking, right, you ain't even finished it yet. And there's just about less than half in a bottle for me. And this is a fragrance that you can use sparingly. Like you don't have to do a lot of sprays. Don't be doing what I did and spray 30 unless you want all the attention. But 3 or 4 sprays are going to do the job. And I remember going to an Afnan event last year and linked up with Ragnar, and he was like, yo, what's that fragrance you're wearing? That smells nice. And I was like, Oud Satin Mood. And he wasn't someone who likes Oud Satin Mood. So he was like, you sure? Like what? Then after we went to Harrods and he tried it and he's like, nah, like, I don't really like it from the bottle, but how it was projecting off my skin, he thought it was sick. So that's good. So that just tells you there's some fragrances that you need to wear on skin or even smell on other people to see how it performs on them before just you go in Harrods and go like, Oh yeah, I like it, I don't like it. Definitely test it on skin and see how it performs. And now the number 3 spot goes to the next fragrance from Maison France's Kirkjohn. And if you said Grand Soir, you would be right. And I know with the rest of the list, I showed you the fragrance bottle, but sadly, I don't have it at the moment. I need to re-up on it. That just shows how good of a fragrance it is, but Grand Soir is in number 3. And this is a fragrance I've had a love-hate relationship with because I saw loads of people speaking about it online, so I was like, you know what, next time I go out, I need to try this fragrance. This was years ago, by the way. And I remember trying it and I thought, what the hell? This thing just smells super medicinal, super chemical to me. So I was like, you know what, like that ain't for me. I don't know what people are talking about, but I can't be buying this fragrance. Then it must have been like 3 or 4 months later, I smelled it again. And this was after trying a whole load of fragrances. And I was like, right, this one's actually nice. And then I bought it, I put it on skin, and I thought it's absolutely beautiful. And it's highly regarded as one of the best amber fragrances on the market, and I understand why. And that's not me saying now that the slightly chemical, medicinal, or clinical smell of the fragrance is totally gone for me, because it's definitely not. I still think in the first, I would say 5 to 10 minutes is still there, but I can put up with it because I know what's to come is even better. So if any of you guys go out and try this fragrance on skin and you're like, what, this absolutely stinks, like just give it some time, let it dry down, because then you're hit with just straight up amber and vanilla, slightly sticky feeling. It's a little bit resinous and balsamic, but for me it's absolutely stunning, and one that for me is a 10 out of 10. Again, the projection on longevity for me is amazing. You're gonna get 10, 12 plus hours. Put this on clothes, it's gonna last all day. But I do have to say, because I do have a lot of younger people following me, do I think this is one of the first fragrances or niche fragrances that you guys should go out and buy? Definitely not. Definitely sample it, see what you think of it now, because I guarantee in a couple years your opinions will change. But if you guys think there's a better amber fragrance on the market, please let me know, because I'm dying to try one. And now the fragrance that just missed out on the number 1 spot, this is in the number 2 position. It is from Dior's private line fragrances. And you guys that know me already are like, yeah, just get on with it. This is Vanilla Diorama. This is an absolutely beautiful fragrance. And when I picked this one up, I hadn't even seen a review on it. I just went out, tested all of the fragrances from Dior, and this is the one that got my heart, and it's got vanilla in it, so that's probably why. But this is my 2nd or even 3rd bottle of this fragrance, and this is one that I'll buy for life. And when I talk about Vanilla Diorama, there's only one word that I can use to describe the fragrance, and it is elegant. Like, it's elegance at its finest. In the opening, you get the orange and the pink pepper, and there's something about citrus and slightly spicy opening. I see the same with Ingenious Ginger from Goldfield and Banks with the lemon and the ginger. It just works. So orange with the spice does amazing. Then as it dries down, it becomes a true gourmand fragrance, and you're hit with some rum, which is a slight boozy feel to it, which is beautiful. The cacao, which for me, it makes it sort of like lactonic or a little bit milky. And then of course the vanilla that you get throughout. This is just, it's just beautiful, man. And the magnetic cap, absolutely love as well. And a quick disclaimer, this fragrance is not like any other vanilla fragrance that I've got in my collection. And I think loads of people are going to think, oh, if you're going to go out and spend £245, £250 for a 100ml fragrance, it's going to be a crazy beast mode fragrance. I'm here to tell you it's not. It's not going to be that. Even if you do 25, 30 sprays, this is not going to kind of command the room. This is definitely a close encounter kind of fragrance. Of course, if you're wearing loads of sprays of it and people are within 2-3 meters with you, they're definitely going to pick it up. But this is one that's kind of more sensual, a little bit more seductive. That's why I say it's a date night fragrance, because say you go out with your girl and she hugs you, then you drop her home or something, she's going to be smelling this in her hair. She's going to go away thinking about you. It's one of those fragrances. So yeah, man, I think we need those kind of fragrances in our collection. Not everything needs to be crazy, monstrous, beast mode. I think we need at least one like this. And I'm telling you, for me, this is the GOAT. And when people send me their collections to review and I see Vanilla Diorama in it, I'm like, oh, how did you hear about that? And they're like, it's you, of course. You put me onto this. And everyone I see and I say, like, or they ask me, what's your favorite fragrances? And I say, number 1, which is coming. I say this one. I say Oud Satin Mood. I always ask them, what do you think of Vanilla Diorama? Because I think it's one that if you smell it for the first time, you'll be like, okay, yeah, it smells alright. It's nothing special though. Like, I'll give it like a 5, 6 or 7. But when you actually wear this and enjoy this fragrance, loads of people say nothing less than a 9 for me. So if you disagree with me and you think this is the most basic fragrance ever, please let me know. Now the number 1 spot, we're not going to spend long on this at all. Hey, pre the smile, like, I'm getting gassed. Obviously, let's not waste any time. It is, of course, by Kilian Paris. And it is this beauty right here called Angel Share. And you lot might see this bottle and be like, what? That's not the 50ml bottle that you used to have. Hey, listen, we've upgraded now. No more 50ml. We're on the 100ml. And this is just a banger, man. I swear. For me, this is the top 3 boozy fragrances ever created. There's not one thing I dislike about it. The bottle, absolutely stunning. The juice color is just beautiful. You get the sweet vanilla in there. You get the cognac in there. You get the cinnamon in there. You get the woods in the base as well. This thing is just a 10 out of 10 fragrance, man. It's absolutely stunning. And you know what's sad about it? I feel like I don't wear it enough anymore. I feel like I just admire the fragrance. Like on the top of my shelf, I always look at it and I always pick something else. It's one that I just need in the collection. Whether or not I don't like the fragrance anymore, I've kind of gone off it and I enjoy other fragrances a little bit more. This is one that I will always own forever. I'll even keep the bottle and fill it up with apple juice if they discontinue the fragrance, because it is that good. But yeah, man, it's one fragrance that I'm all about feelings when it comes to scents, and it's one that I actually feel like a boss when I wear it. Like if I put this on with a trench coat, it's serious, like I'm the guy. And I want to know from you guys, like the way I just explained this, what is that one fragrance for you that when you put it on, it's just different? Like the aura in the room, just the whole vibe is just different, and it's all about you, because Angel shares it for me, but what is it for you? So will I ever stop speaking about Angel Share? No. Do I think the fragrance is a 10-10? Yes. Do I think everyone should go out and buy this? No. Like, and that might surprise you. I'm saying this is the best fragrance that I've ever smelled. This is my favorite fragrance of all time, but you guys shouldn't buy it. And the reason I'm saying that is because of the price. This is £300 for 100 ml. The 50 ml is £200. Do you need to buy this fragrance? I don't think you need to. And I'm not someone who loves promoting dupes all the time, but I think there are great budget, affordable options out there like Kismet Angel, like Montage Intense, like Sharaf Blend. So if you're on a budget and want to spend 30 to 40 pounds and smell amazing as well, definitely go for them. But yeah, if you've got the money and you want to kind of enjoy something and buy something a little bit luxurious, definitely 100% go for Angel Share. And now that is the end of the video. I hope you guys all enjoyed it. And I want you guys to tell me, was there anything included or not included on this list that you thought, rah, that was definitely going to be on here, or nah, I didn't think that one would even make the list? Let me know, because I'm super intrigued by that. And I just want to say a massive thank you for all your support as always. If you're not already subscribed and you made it to this point, hit subscribe. And if you can do me a favor, follow me over on Instagram and TikTok as well. But I'll see you in the next video. Hope you all have a great day. See you soon. Love for the love, my people.